Well, let's see. Do we talk to the superintendent or do we watch more of the Artesia High School band performance from last night?
Well, I can tell you what would be more entertaining and talented. That's for sure.
It was interesting because I'm up on the camera deck, but I'm in the coach's booth because the judges are out on the camera.
Right.
But I've got the microphone out there, and it's a really nice directional mic. I mean, it's pointing down at the field. And the judges have little recorders, and so they're recording their comments as they're watching the band perform. And after Portales performed, one of the judges, the one that was closest to the microphone, he comes into the booth and he says, "That microphone's not picking up my commentary, is it?" I said, "No, sir, you're fine." He says, "They don't need to hear my commentary on the broadcast." I said, "No, you're fine."
That's it. I wasn't sure how they, what their process was for keeping up with everything that's going on. Because it'd be hard to write and watch at the same time.
Well, they have their notepad, but what they're doing is they each have a little recorder, and they're recording their thoughts and comments as they're watching the performance. And then when it's done, they sit at their table and they make their notes and give their grade. And so, yeah, it's an interesting process to watch because the bands aren't competing against each other.
Right.
They're trying to get the superior ratings.
Yeah, and we were really pleased to get to host the marching festival again. And as we were talking about before we went on the air, there was a good crowd there last night. And although the wind blew all day long, it really wasn't too bad at all down in the bowl. It was pleasant, and the crowd stuck around, and the Greyhound Sound came and joined us, and appreciate Mr. Phipps and working with Jeff Butcher and just our activity drivers who really give of themselves to get our kids to and from all of these places. But what they did, if you're not aware, is it was going to be cost prohibitive for the ENMU band to make the trip on a charter bus. So Mr. Phipps was able to work it out where we took an activity bus to Portales, picked up the band, brought them here to perform, and then took them back. And it was about a fourth of the cost that it would have been had they had to use a charter bus.
Wow.
And so we were pleased to be able to help them out. And that's just such a traditional thing, and gives our musicians in all of these area bands the opportunity to see what a college band looks like, and if they want to aspire to be a part of something like that.
And another tradition that started under Coach Henderson and continued under Coach Henderson and is now continuing under Coach Maupin is the football players lining the championship ramp as the band came down, the Artesia band came down to perform.
It is. It's really it's a neat sight to see those football players, as you said, lining the ramp, and then also coming over to the stands and just sitting as a group and really encouraging the band that supports them on all those Friday nights. And then they'll do the same thing when district basketball starts up, and so sure makes things exciting. And as far as our band goes, just a little shout out to Mrs. Dillon and Dr. Kennedy and Mr. Siegel and all of those kids. Parents help them out. But as an example, last Thursday, in addition to just preparing for Marching Festival, they played at the Zia football games that were going on at Bulldog Bowl, and then they went over and they played at Morris Field for the 9th grade football games that were going on. Awesome. And so they just covered a lot of territory, and I hope Dr. Kennedy doesn't mind me sharing this, but after the 9th grade game, I was visiting with him as he was putting up the band truck, and he said it was the first time he'd ever had any penalties called on him as a band director.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got 2 flags for apparently playing when you're not supposed to, which is not our interpretation of the rule, but that's probably for another day. But anyway,
well, we've seen that at the varsity level.
Right.
Too much. I don't know. It's
too much fun.
Too
much school
fun.
Spirit.
That's we need to work on that. And then there's a lot of things you're working on, I know. Well, let's. Are we through the first 9 weeks?
We are. We have launched into the second 9 weeks officially yesterday, and so just pleased with how things are rocking along for the most part right now, and getting in a groove in a lot of areas. And I sent out a letter on Monday afternoon to families just with a few reminders, and one was just some encouragement if their kids are struggling in school academically or socially or emotionally, just sure encourage them to reach out to teachers and principals, our counselors, our social workers. There are things in place to help those kids there after school, before school opportunities, and so just if they do feel that their kids are struggling for some reason, please reach out to us and let us help them out the best that we can. Some other things that pointed out, just a couple of things on our website. Just want to continue to keep the mill levy election on the forefront of people's minds as they are maybe early voting or absentee voting or planning to vote on November the 2nd. Very important that that the voters throughout our school district consider that and vote when they have the opportunity to do so. And so I just direct people to our website. Upper right-hand corner of the website, can't miss it, information on the mill levy election. And then also, of course, we've talked a lot, Gene, about the development of the social studies standards and that process and where things are at in that process. And again, if people have not received the information, I encourage them to go again to our website under the latest news section. It has what people need to be able to review the standards and also to provide public comment either through email or through regular mail. And there's also an opportunity on November the 12th to do so in person in Santa Fe. So direct people there. Also,
well, I know the board passed a resolution.
Yes.
And I think some other districts around the state considered it. Has that resolution and the others been received by the Public Education Department? And have you had any feedback from
They have. To date, about 30 districts across the state have done something similar, and really, to our board's credit, they really reached out to other boards, and not just regionally, but across our state, and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. You want to be a part of it, and sharing that resolution or that petition out. And in fact, I got a request again from a new superintendent yesterday, just asking for a copy of that. And so, and Gene, really, we did get a letter back from the Public Education Department that informed us they were moving forward with the rulemaking process, which has started and runs through November 12th. So immediately, raised concern with that, because we're asking for this much more significant delay to allow proper time to review things and provide feedback. And so on our superintendent's call with the PED last week, I shared those concerns, and immediately after the Secretary of Education gave me a call, and we had a good discussion, and he assured me that the public comment was going to be considered carefully, that their minds weren't made up, but it's hard to say,
right,
Gene, and so that's what was told to me. But
definitely you're encouraging the public,
absolutely,
all across the state,
right,
if they have opinions on this,
absolutely,
to get those
absolutely to get that done. And then of course we're working with yesterday, had a meeting with our social studies department heads to just to work with them on this process of not only, it's very important to not just provide feedback of I like them, I don't like them, but more specific suggestions regarding specific standards, either striking or rewording or whatever the case may be. And so that's what we're really encouraging people to do, and that's how we're working through the process.
Okay.
And a couple of other things. We have so many of our staff members working hard out there to help kids, and there's an opportunity always for students, for parents, for community members to give a little shout out to those staff members. And right in the middle of our website is a button that says nominate a Tate Branch Success Maker. Tate Branch sponsors this Success Maker program, and people can go on there and they can just give some encouraging words and share how a certain staff member is helping to make their student a success. And then lastly, we just share that we continue on Thursday evenings to update our COVID dashboard, letting community, families know what the number of positive cases that have been on each of our campuses during what would be considered their infectious period over the previous 14 days.
Okay.
And so I monitor that daily, but update that on Thursday evenings. And then the last thing that I mentioned in the letter that went home was we do have a new assistant superintendent who's come on board with us. Mike Worley retired recently, and so Mike's been a great asset to the district for many, many years, and so we wish him well in his next endeavors. But Cody Skinner, who has he's been an administrator for 15 years, principal at the junior high, and assistant principal at the junior high, and most recently principal at Hermosa Elementary. So Cody's going to come over and be over our elementary education program and our federal programs. And so we want to welcome Cody to the administration office and being part of our district administrative team. And I want to make sure that Hermosa families know that we're going to support them through this process, certainly not going to abandon them in any way, and are already actively seeking a new principal at Hermosa, and we'll be working through that process in the coming days.
Okay.
So anyway, a lot going on, Gene.
It is, and I found out the other day Mrs. Earl is going to be retiring.
She is.
I don't know if she said that publicly yet or not.
Well,
maybe I shouldn't have said that on the radio.
Well, I don't think she would mind, and actually two of our longtime, very, very valuable business office folks are retiring at Christmas, and that's Esther, as you mentioned, and then Joy Conklin, as well.
I said to Esther, I said, you can't. It's just no. I'm sure she's heard that from other people too.
She definitely has, especially from me. But we have recently hired two new payroll technicians, which is the department that Esther worked in, and so they're here with us training with Esther and Anna Bilberry, and so they'll be ready to go, and they're great new additions to our team.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Gene.
it, and
You
we'll
bet.
see you at school.
Sir, have a good day.
All right.
Don't know me.